So, if you're in the nonprofit world, you are probably all too familiar with Form 990. You know, that annual IRS filing that can feel like, well, a total chore. But what if I told you it's more than that? What if it's actually one of your most powerful, secret weapons for building credibility and, yes, securing funding? Let's dive in and demystify this thing.
And that's really the big question we're tackling here. We're going to move way beyond just checking a box for the IRS. We're talking about turning this mandatory filing into a strategic asset. It's not just about rules, it's about telling a powerful story about your work. All right, here's our game plan. First up, we'll cover the one thing you absolutely have to do. Then we'll meet the whole 990 family. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the rules for choosing your form, then shift gears into making a strategic choice. And finally, we'll tie it all together. Compliance, credibility, and yep, funding. Okay, let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. This is totally non-negotiable. To keep that precious tax-exempt status, every single public charity has to file one of the three versions of Form 990 every single year. If you don't do this, that status you worked so hard to get, it could be in serious, serious jeopardy. All right, so let's meet the whole 990 family. The easiest way to think about these three forms is with a simple analogy. You've got the 990N, that's like a quick postcard you drop in the mail. Then there's the 990 Easy, which is kind of like a short, friendly letter. And then you have the big one, the full Form 990. That's the comprehensive annual report, the whole shebang. So, first up is the 990N, also known as the e-Postcard. And honestly, that name is perfect. It's for the smallest organizations. We're talking those with gross receipts, typically under $50,000. It's all online. You can knock it out in like 15 minutes, and you're just giving the most basic info. No financials, no deep program details. It's basically just a quick digital wave to the IRS saying, hey, we're still here. Okay, moving up the ladder, we've got the 990 Easy. This is our short letter. It's a 4-page form designed for mid-sized organizations. Now, this form gives a snapshot of your finances, a summary of what you've accomplished with your programs, and it asks some basic questions about your governance. It's a really solid middle ground, and this is where you actually start to tell a little bit of your story. And then we have the big one, the full Form 990. This is our full report. At over 20 pages, plus all the extra schedules, this thing is a deep, deep dive into everything about your organization, your detailed financials, who gets paid what, your governance policies, your program specifics. I mean, this is the gold standard for transparency. It puts everything out there for the world to see. Okay, this chart is where it gets really interesting, so let's break it down. You can see the thresholds and financial detail, but look, focus on those bottom two rows. For the 990N, public availability? Nope, not posted. Funder value? Minimal. But watch what happens when you jump to the 990 Easy. All of a sudden, boom, your info is out there on sites like GuideStar. And with the full 990, we're talking comprehensive data everywhere. That jump from minimal to comprehensive, that is what funders are looking for. Okay, so the big question is, how do you know which form you're actually required to file? Well, it all boils down to some very specific numbers, the gross receipts and asset thresholds. Let's get into the rules. The first magic number to remember is $50,000. If your gross receipts are normally at or below that number, you can file that super simple 990 in e-Postcard. And that word normally is super important. The IRS looks at a 3-year rolling average. So, one surprisingly good fundraising year isn't going to automatically kick you into a new category. And this slide, honestly, this might be the most important slide for understanding the rules. It's all about the tiny words and versus or. To file the 990 Easy, you have to be under both thresholds, less than $200,000 in receipts and less than $500,000 in assets. But for the full 990, you only need to cross one of those lines. That little word or is a powerful tripwire that moves a lot of growing organizations into that most detailed filing category. So, you want to figure this out for your own organization? It's actually a pretty simple 3-step check. Step 1, go calculate that 3-year average of your gross receipts. Step 2, look at your year-end balance sheet and find your total assets at fair market value. And step 3, just hold those numbers up against the and/or thresholds we just talked about. That's it. You've got your answer. All right, we've got the rules down. Now for the fun part. Let's talk strategy. This is where we stop thinking about what the IRS requires you to do and start thinking about what you should do to really push your mission forward. So let's be crystal clear about something. If you qualify for the simplest form, the 990N, and you file it on time, you're good. You've done your legal duty, the IRS is happy, your tax-exempt status is safe, end of story. But here's the million-dollar question, right? Checking that box is great for the government. But what about the foundations and major donors you're asking to invest in your cause? Is that enough for the people you're asking to fund your work? Does a virtual postcard satisfy them? And this really gets to the heart of it. Sophisticated funders use your 990 as a key due diligence tool. Think about it from a grant officer's perspective. They want to see your financial health, your governance practices. The 990N gives them, well, nothing. They can't see your spending ratios. They can't see if your board is compensated. You're basically asking them to invest with a blindfold on. And that can be a huge hurdle. So you might be thinking, why on earth would I do more work than I have to? Well, because the payoff is massive. When you choose to file a 990EZ or a full 990, you're not just filing taxes. You're building your case for support. You're proactively showing transparency. You're giving funders the exact data they need to feel confident. You get to showcase your amazing accomplishments. And you signal that you're a well-run, professional organization, a solid investment. Okay, so let's tie all these threads together now. Your Form 990, it's not just a form you file and forget. It's this incredible sweet spot where legal compliance, public credibility, and your fundraising all meet. You need to make it work for you. This visual really says it all, doesn't it? That single document you file has 3 massive jobs. First, it's the must-do compliance piece for the IRS. Second, it's your credibility builder with the public, proving you're trustworthy. And third, and maybe most importantly for your growth, it's a key evaluation tool for funders. It's your funding tool. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one absolutely crucial reminder. The IRS is not going to send you a nice letter saying, "Hey, congrats on your growth, time to file a 990EZ." No, it is 100% your responsibility to keep an eye on your numbers and upgrade your form when it's time. Don't wait for a notification that's never going to come. So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. The next time you sit down to work on your annual filing, ask yourself this question. Are you just filling out a form, or are you actually writing the first page of your next big grant proposal? The choice and the incredible opportunity is all yours.